Hello, and welcome to the Piano Lessons for Parents podcast. My name is Dr. N. Mason Conklin, and I'm here to help you help your child succeed at the piano. In just a few minutes a week, you can learn the basic musical concepts that will help you supervise and evaluate your child's practice time at home, and learn some tricks and tips to make that practice time the most effective that it can be. On today's podcast, we'll talk about moving beginners towards an intervallic reading system. Method books generally start with pre-staff notation, and that has some limitations. One of those limitations is that it encourages children to either focus on finger numbers or to look at note names and then find those notes on the keyboard. Most pre-staff notation will involve a hand chart telling your kids where to put their hands, and then they'll use note heads with finger numbers above them, and they read those finger numbers to see what notes it is they are supposed to be playing at the keyboard. These pre-staff conventions can sometimes lead to problems later on when we move to on-staff notation. One of these limitations is if the hand position is always the same, the student begins to read a finger number as a note and not just as the finger number that's supposed to play a note. This is a common problem with method books that use a lot of middle C hand positions where the two thumbs will share middle C. They will begin to associate finger number 2 of the right hand with D. And no matter what you do, anytime they see a note that's D, they try to use finger 2. Or anytime they see finger 2, they try to play a note, they try to play D. So there's an incorrect association between a finger number and the note that they're supposed to play. The other thing that happens with pre-staff notation, if the notes are superimposed on the note head, the student will begin to develop the bad habit of looking down for each note. So they'll start like this and they'll say, okay, the first note is a C, then they'll look down at the keyboard to find the C. Then they have to look back up at the page and they'll see the next note is an A, and they look down at the keyboard and find an A. So they're looking up and down, and that just has all kinds of problems. They'll end up losing their place on the page. There'll be a delay between the note that they read and the note that they play. And so what we would prefer as piano teachers is that our students begin to read intervallically. And what that means is they read groups of notes and they look at distance and direction. Do the notes move up? Do the notes move down? So even at this early stage with pre-staff notation, we try to lead the children to think in an intervallic manner. So if I could show you here with this piece, Dakota Melody. Now this piece kind of uses a little bit of a combination of a hand chart and finger numbers as well as superimposed notes. But you'll notice that what they do is they kind of wean the children away from a certain style of reading so that they begin to think more intervallically. You'll notice here, this note does not have a name superimposed on it. The note prior to it is an A, and we can see that the note has not moved any further up or down the page, so we will assume that this is a repeated note, so that this is an A. We also see, yes, we do have a hand chart up here, but we don't have every finger number indicated in the music. So when we get to this position, we see that we're supposed to play a C with finger 2, and then we go up to D. Now they didn't tell us that that's going to be finger 3, but they did superimpose the note name in there. Back down to C, we switch hands to 2 on A, we go down to G and down to F, and then this is another F, but it's repeated. What we like to do with our students is to help them think the way we want them to. Rather than going C, A, and the same, C, A, and counting out note names, or saying 2, 2, 2, and counting out finger numbers, we like to lead them through it this way. We will tell them the note and the finger that they need to start with, and then tell them whether the next note is the same, going up, or going down. So let me demonstrate that. We're going to start with the right hand finger 2 on C, and the left hand finger 2 on A. Now anytime they change hands, we'll go ahead and cue the note and the finger. So very slowly, we might talk through this piece in this manner. Right hand 2 on C, left hand 2 on A, same. Right hand 2 on C, left hand 2 on A, same. Right hand note on C, 2, up, down, left hand 2 on A, down, down, same. Right hand 2 on C, left hand 2 on A, same, down, up, same. Right hand 2 on C, left hand 2 on A, same, down, up. So we did not tell them the note name of every single note. We only told them the note name whenever they were switching hands. It works best whenever there's a long string of notes, like right here in the left hand, where we can say 2 on A, down, down, same. We didn't say A, G, F, F, and we didn't say 2, 3, 4, 4. You see, what we want later on is for them to be able to look at a group of notes and say, these notes move up, and to associate up with the very next finger. Instead of finger number 2, figure out which one is finger number 3, we say finger number 2, and then up, and they just know that it's the next finger up on the keyboard, and then down, and it's the next finger down on the keyboard. This system of reading works really, really great because it helps students keep their eyes on the page. And this is a pretty important thing. It is not a sin to glance down at the keyboard to make sure you're in the right place, but it is definitely a bad habit to be looking up and down from the page to the keyboard for every single note. It's just going to slow the kids down. Plus, when you read intervallically, by looking at the way the notes move and how far they move, you begin to pick up patterns of notes rather than a single note at a time. So, for example, starting here with this 2 on A, the pattern of notes that they can pick up is moving down and then the same note. Moving down, same note. This allows them to keep their eyes on the page and trust that their hand is going to stay in position while they play. Okay, that's all for today. These are the steps that we use with our children to start transitioning them into intervallic reading. And it's something that you can do with your kids as they practice at home too. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you on Wednesday for the practice edition of the podcast when we'll talk about the importance of strong curved fingers. And then next week for another edition of the Piano Lessons for Parents podcast. I'll see you then.